What's the name of this movie? Is this my review? Can I rap? Am I gonna try it on this preview? Jordan Peele. When they made a movie. What's it called? It's pretty damn groovy. Sunken Place? Outer Space? New director? Same face? Was it bad? It was pretty damn good. First movie I know called I Know Jordan Peele is the Man.
That boy is good.
Hey guys, it's your guy in the chair here, and this is my review for Nope, directed by Jordan Peele, and stars Daniel Kaluuya, Keke Palmer, Stephen Young, and Brandon Pereira. And our story basically follows Daniel Kaluuya and Keke Palmer as these siblings who essentially, they work on this ranch, and their dad, dies of unexpected occurrences, and essentially they, you get to the gist of the fact that it's aliens, and they got to find it out. I'm not really trying to be too detailed as to what the plot is. It's an alien movie for the most part. Like, it's basically mysterious occurrences that happen, and it leads to alien exposures, and it's one of those movies. I'm not gonna go too deep and or much further than that, just because this movie does not show a lot in the trailers. It does not explain a lot in any of the footage that we've seen before this movie came out, and I have to applaud Jordan Peele for that. I really appreciate that, because trailers don't really know how to do that nowadays. The first trailer absolutely confused everybody. Like, nobody knew what this movie was about. I didn't know what type of, idea or story we were gonna, capture this time around, because at first we dealt with racism, and then 100%, I don't really know the message of Us. Like, I wasn't really, on board with everything that movie had to offer, but essentially, dealing with a version of yourself, I guess I could say. But this movie didn't really show or reveal what its antagonist was going to be, and then once we found out it was going to be an alien movie, I kind of thought this is going to be different. I knew it was going to be a different tone of a movie for Jordan Peele this go around, because it's not necessarily something that we're used to in the previous two films that he made. This isn't something he's normally done, like an actual monster movie film. He's tackling aliens now, and this is something brand new. And he does it in an absolutely phenomenal way, guys. Look, this movie from start to finish has you questioning what the hell is going on, but not in a bad way. It's in a way to keep you intrigued throughout the movie, throughout the story, and it's honestly one of the most compelling, one of the most absolutely mind-blowing horror movies I've seen in a very long time. I loved everything about this movie. I have been begging Hollywood to give me a horror movie that I could just adore and I could just really love, because I felt like I just, for a really long time, especially because Halloween Kills just came out last year, we have not gotten a very good horror movie or made a great effort to make a fantastic horror movie. Jordan Peele saved us this time around, guys, because this movie's absolutely incredible. I loved almost everything. Of course, I guess I'm a critic, so I'm going to have complaints about some stuff, but we're going to get to that in a little bit. First of all, I'm just going to talk about what I loved about the movie. Okay, so first of all, there were three very big stars in this movie, and before I get to the biggest one of them all, I'm going to talk about two that stood out and were the very main focal points of this movie: Daniel Kaluuya and Keke Palmer. They gave absolutely incredible performances. They were terrifying. They were great in their roles, and honestly, for somebody as I feel underappreciated as Keke Palmer is in her acting career, just because she's done such great movies as Akeelah and the Bee, and then she's kind of not necessarily had rocky performances afterwards, but she hasn't been somebody that necessarily is consistent in her efforts to be great. She was in with the Jennifer Lopez movie Hustlers a while back, and she did okay in that. That's a very good movie. She did a pretty good job in that. But Keke Palmer just hasn't done anything to stay consistently on that radar of just being a great actress. But this one should solidify all of her talents, because she gave her all in this movie. I absolutely loved everything about her character. She was entertaining. She was funny. She was, emotional when she needed to be. She gave a very gripping performance, and it was just something that I could hold on to, and I just love. Daniel Kaluuya is a guy who just, time after time, again and again, he just proves that he's one of the best actors working today, and I just love everything about him and his performance, and they just do everything right. The premise of this movie, or the basis, or what this movie is essentially based off of, is the fact that black people say nope, every time, something weird or mysterious goes on. Like, we don't want to have anything to do with it. We're going to walk away from it. And the fact that Jordan Peele was able to make a movie around that premise is just absolutely, it's genius, but it's like, because it's so simple at the same time. It's like, why is nobody, like, that's a universal fact. Like, all black people know, like, once we see something, like, we are not going to be a part of that. And the fact that we are just now in 2022 getting a movie about that is just, it's kind of surreal, but it's just like Jordan Peele has done absolute masterclass work. Like, to talk about this third star, I think you guys all know who it is, but here we go anyway. Look, you should already know who this third star of this film is, but essentially I'm just going to tell you anyway. It's Jordan Peele. Look, this guy over the past 2 films has really, mastered everything he wanted to master in the horror genre, and he's taken that, toned it up so well, and just turned it into an absolute beauty of a film that we see here in Nope. Like, he's honestly turned up all the horror elements. Like, when I first watched Get Out and Us, those were movies that didn't necessarily scare me in the sense of jump scares, or scare me in the sense of, essentially like how normal horror movies do. Like, we're not like it, like we're just like, oh my god, this is kind of like fucked up in a way. Like, it's kind of like fucked up horror. Like, this movie Nope is not like, fucked up. Well, it is, but it's like, it's actual horror in the sense as well. Like, there's actual things to be afraid of. He's using more than just, essentially topics, or just like, everyday things that are going on to keep us scared. He's using actual horror elements in this movie. Like, he's using sound effects, he's using imagery, he's using horrific graphics, sounds, and just like it's all amazing. Like, one of the best scenes in this film has to do with, essentially in the trailer where they say they paint the house, where the aliens were painting their house. Yeah, that's one of the best scenes in this movie, because it's absolutely just showing everything that Jordan Peele has learned about the horror genre, and he's taken it into fruition, and he's just absolutely doing it at the best level there is in Hollywood. Like, Jordan Peele is absolutely killing it in every aspect possible. Now, I will say this, there is an element of this movie that nobody knows about going in, and I'm not going to go into detail about it at all. It has to do with a character named Gordy. I'm not going to tell you who or what Gordy is, but Gordy is a character, and Gordy is a part of scenes throughout the film that are absolutely just terrifying. They're very eerie in a sense. Like, it's very hard to watch those scenes play out. Like, it's absolutely ridiculous the way, like, that is honestly could arguably be the scariest moment in the movie. That all those scenes could be argued as the scariest parts of the film, and it really doesn't even have much to do with the film itself. I mean, essentially, if you can make that connection, it does, but I'm speechless. I'm absolutely speechless as to how good Jordan Peele has gotten as being a horror director. And I'm just speechless at the fact of how much I love this movie. Like, the UFO aspect, the Gordy aspect. Like I said, I can't even go into detail of who Gordy is or what Gordy is, but let me tell you something. That entire, even when they're introducing Gordy and they're like just showing a picture on the wall, that is making you creeped out. Like, you're not even getting into the details of the story of what's going on. Like, you're creeped out simply based off of how somebody's explaining a certain thing. That's another thing, like, Jordan Peele really brought out all different horror elements in this movie. Like, he was able to make, even the explanations, like when people are explaining, having dialogue back and forth with each other, whatever tone he's trying to set, whatever tone he's trying to create, he's creating it in the best way possible. Like, he's making basic conversations very creepy and very scary, and I have to applaud him for that. I mean, Jordan Peele got audiences, like, people, this felt like an old school horror movie where people are going, oh my god, don't go in there, no, don't do that, don't do this, don't do that. Like, it was old, it had that old school horror film where people were actually participating in being scared, and it's just, I have to thank Jordan Peele for that. Thank you so much, sir, because we've missed this. We've needed this in Hollywood. The horror genre has needed this, and you, sir, have delivered in every aspect possible. Thank you, Jordan Peele. Now, I will say this. I am a critic, so of course, you know, I'm going to have my little nitpicks about certain things. The only problem I have with this movie is it's a little too long. It could have been like 10 to 15 minutes shorter. Other than that, I absolutely adored everything about this movie. Like I said, overall, Jordan Peele has absolutely mastered this thing we call horror. He's absolutely just solidifying himself as one of the best horror directors in Hollywood today. I think, honestly, by the end of his horror track, he may solidify himself as like one of the greats, like one of the Wes Cravens or the Carpenters in the horror film genre. And I'm honestly excited to see where this goes. Like, guys, this is definitely one of my favorite movies of the year. I can't say it beat out Top Gun, but like, just based off the fact that Jordan Peele showed us so little in these trailers. Like, I saw a video afterwards about, like, they were asking him questions like, what can you tell us, you know, happens in the movie that we haven't seen yet that's not a spoiler? And he couldn't really say much. I mean, he did mention, you know, Gordy, but essentially, because nobody even knows what Gordy is or what that situation is, but he did mention that. But it's like, you really can't explain anything else about the movie other than what was shown to us. And that's the thing, nothing was shown to us. I just love the fact that Jordan Peele really kept most of the, you know, mystery hidden within this film, and we get to, you know, see it play out, and we get to just, you know, find out what happens as it goes along. And honestly, I will say this, and I was honestly thankful for Jordan Peele for doing this. I felt like Us at times was very hard to follow. Like, he was really trying to make a lot of connections to the real world, and just, you know, a lot of different, you know, messages being thrown at us. I felt like Us was a little hard to follow in that sense, because he was trying to connect a lot at once. This movie's very easy to follow. This movie's very easy to understand. There is, like I said, there is an animal connection where essentially some people could be very confused, but like, there was an animal connection in Us too that had to do with bunnies, and there's one in this one too. So I mean, it could be kind of hard, but I felt like this movie was a lot easier to follow. I felt like this movie delivered on the actual horror elements, and, you know, essentially, I enjoyed this way better than I did Us. Like, Us, I essentially had to sit there and I was kind of like, I liked what I saw, but I can't necessarily say I enjoyed it. Nope. I automatically knew once the credits rolled. Honestly, before the credits even rolled, but I knew once the credits rolled, I had a fantastic time. I enjoyed this movie. I want to see it again and again and again. Like, this is one of the best horror movies of the year. It's one of the best horror movies I've seen in a while. Jordan Peele, you are a master artist at this horror thing. And for all those reasons and so many more, guys, I'm going to give Nope a 4.5 out of 5 stars. Alright, guys, so Nope, have you seen it? What did you think about it? Look, leave out your comments below. Be sure to like, subscribe. What is your, you know, favorite Jordan Peele film? What is your order of the 3 Jordan Peele films that have come out so far? Look, just, you know, let's get a conversation started in the comments below, guys. And look, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. This is your guy in the chair. More content coming to you soon.